For a moment, Swami glared at me, and I looked at him a little stunned. Swami went behind me and gave me a whack. Somebody asked Swami, he was invited to our campus for a moral class, and he shared his experience. And he asked Swami, this youth leader from Karnataka, and he asked, Swami, what is God's true nature actually? And Swami said, it is light. Understand that it is light. Light, which is both has got a form and it also doesn't have beyond form. One day, we were all sitting in the presence of Bhagwan in the interview room. And the girl students of the primary school were putting up a gratitude program. And the students were singing beautiful songs and bhajans with great fervor, with great devotion. Songs like, Tu Pyar Ka Sagar Hai, Teri Ek Boond Ke Pyase Hum, O Ma, Sai Ma, Jab Koi Baat Bigad Jaye. Every moment of our life. And Swami was literally melted. In fact, Swami used to come into the interview room to wipe his tears. Swami will come, wipe his tears and look at us. And then Swami said, see, look at the devotion of these little girls. I don't even speak to them on a regular basis, but even then their devotion is par excellence. And we said, yes, Swami, their devotion is par excellence. Then Swami went out. He said, let my chair be shifted now from the gents to the ladies' side, near these children. I would like to listen to their songs from nearby. And Swami listened to those songs. Then Swami came back. He was totally melted. And Swami said, looking at us, he said, boys, I call you every day for interview. I talk to you on a daily basis. How many times you have traveled with me? But even then, compared to these little children, these girls, your devotion is nothing. I felt slightly hurt. I thought probably, we are in form. Swami speaks to us. That is why we are devotees. We had given ourselves benefit of doubt, so to say. But here was Swami putting us in our right place and said, compared to these, certainly, the devotion of ladies is always much greater than men. But here, Swami was starting to compare our devotion to theirs. So here came in the problem for us. So Swami went out again, came back, and then started giving examples and similes of what our devotion was. Swami said, your devotion is like of those frogs who sit in the marsh, make croaking sounds, and don't know the value of the fragrance and the beauty of the lotus flower. You are like those. You keep talking devotion, devotion, Swami will love you, Swami will love you. It's like croaking of those frogs. But compared to these, you don't even have an iota of devotion. Now, this became too much for me to take. And as Swami passed by me, I got up to my knees and I held Swami's full arm from below to up and said, Swami, it was like a crisis for me. I said, Swami, please give me devotion, Swami. At least now give me devotion. Okay, God, you had forgotten to give me devotion at the beginning of time. But you are God. You can at least give me devotion now. Yes, I am like a frog. It doesn't have devotion. I am nothing in comparison. They are like the Mount Everest and I am like the deep valley. Fine, it's okay. But at least now give me that devotion. For a moment, Swami glared at me. And he removed his hand from my grips with Herculean strength. I felt Swami had become upset with me. And I looked at him a little stunned. Swami went behind me and gave me a whack. It was not a slap. It was not a tap. It was not anything which is simple and humble. It was a whack. For 1 second, I saw stars in front of my eyes. And tears involuntarily brimmed to the brink of my eyes. I thought, God, Swami he's become really angry with me because Swami gave me such a whack. I looked at Swami totally stunned and Swami looked towards me and said, did I hurt you? Very coolly, did I hurt you? Now what do I reply, yes or no? I didn't know, so I kept quiet. And I was aghast when Swami gave himself also a similar whack on his own head. That broke me down completely. And I started shedding tears, holding his feet and said, Swami, why did you do that? How can God ever hurt? God only loves. God only bestows. God only gives. Swami, Why did you ever hit your own self? I started crying bitterly, holding his feet, and Swami removed his feet and said, now go out and sit. My breath as if left me for good. I thought something has gone amiss, absolutely. But now look at my status. I'm moving out of the interview room from Bhagwan's presence and moving out. With every step that I'm taking out, I see the world change around me. I see that a magnificent white light is not just pervading, but constituting everything in the universe. The people, the places, the floor, the roof, the furniture, me, Swami, every devotee sitting there is actually constituted by that brilliant white light. And as I go out and sit, I am not able to control. That experience is so overwhelming, so overwhelming. And I start to hear the end part of Omkaram, the sound of That's the last part of the Omkaram, pervading everywhere. It took me a lot of time to come back to my own senses. What Swami can grant us, what Swami can give us, what Swami can bestow upon us in one fraction of a second, in one whack, maybe for you and me, otherwise will take 1,000,000 years to get. Maybe will take thousands of lifetimes to get. Swami is the one who alone is capable, who knows absolutely the karmic balances that we hold from all our previous lives, and in one fraction of a second, he can cancel them and give us a new life. Nobody else can. No guru can, no saint can, no sage can. Sometimes we get very enamored by miracles. Sometimes we also will go to Swami and say, Swami, holidays time, we went that particular place, that Vibhuti is coming, that lady is there who's giving out lingam, and Swami will be very unimpressed by our narration. Swami said, boys, if you go to somebody and ask him for a visiting card and he gives you one, the next day again you go to that person and ask him for a visiting card, he may give you still. Maybe you lost that previous visiting card. Third day again you go and ask for a visiting card. Fourth day again you go ask for a visiting card. That person will say, something is wrong with you. You've gone mad. Yesterday, the last 3 days I've been giving you a visiting card. The fourth day again you come and ask for the same visiting card. Are you mad? Swami says, yes, miracles do happen. I give certain powers to certain individuals for a small span of time, but that's an individual grace given to an individual or to their family. It is not for public exhibition. It is not for collection of money. It is not for making a big show out of it. If someone does that, absolutely don't trust. Don't go. Why? Because ultimately, the purpose of life is not to see miracles. The purpose of life is to go within and realize what a big miracle you already are. Is there a greater miracle than all of us? One Mr. Kasturi was sitting along and their hands were nearly touching each other on the dining table. And then there was a discussion about miracle. And then Mr. Kasturi, Swami, I want to see a miracle. Swami said, you are my greatest miracle. He said, Swami, how? Swami said, see, there are trillions of cells in you, each living, each working in perfect coordination. From one cell of your parents, you were born, and all the faculties were granted to you. And you continue to have those faculties till your lifetime for 100 years. Without stopping, your heart continues to beat all the time. Without stopping, your lungs continue to breathe. Your blood circulation continues to happen. All your internal organs, your eyes continue to see the entire cosmos. Is it not a miracle? What greater miracle is there for us to see than our own bodies? And that is why never ever be attracted by miracles. Understand that you alone are the greatest miracle that Swami has created. But in our journeys onto Him, we have had various stops. We have had various bottlenecks. We have had various lifetimes. Let us try to understand that it is Swami and Swami alone that can make us overcome all these past accumulated samskaras and make our journey onto Him smoother and straightforward.